Ayun, may share ako sa inyong video mga solid, no. Ito yung video ng ating butihing at kagalang-galang na Congresswoman ng Marikina, no, na si Congresswoman Stella Quimbo, no. Ah, sa pagpupulong niya sa Kongreso, no, tungkol sa household plenary debates on the proposed 5.768 trillion national budget, no. So please watch nyo na lang hanggang sa dulo. So bye bye.
In 2.46 trillion pesos, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And from local income and revenues, the balance. Is that correct, Madam Speaker? Madam Sponsor?
Yes. Ballot? Yes, the balance would be the revenues.
So in other words, in percentage, Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor, can you give us the percentage? What's the percentage of the borrowings? What's the percentage of local income and revenues in the total national budget for 2024? Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor.
So for gross borrowings, that would be 43.32%, and 57% for local revenues.
57% for local revenues and
43% for
43% for
borrowings.
borrowings. Okay. We have, Madam Speaker, we have this percentage to GDP. As of now, Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor, what's the current percentage to GDP? The debts to GDP.
Right? To that. It's 61% at the moment.
61%. The ratio of
That's that to GDP.
debt to GDP. So in other words, Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor, we are still in the so-called, how do you put that? Madam Speaker, 61% is still unacceptable percentage.
Sorry? Accept.
Madam Speaker, the sponsor was telling us that the debt to GDP ratio as of now is 61%. So in other words, Madam Speaker, we are not yet in a tight situation. Is that correct, Madam Sponsor? Meaning the international financial institutions can still let us borrow the necessary funding?
Well, right now, Madam Speaker, we look at so international institutions such as the IMF would look at the international standard as of the moment is 70%, and compared to other countries such as Malaysia, for example, Malaysia is at 61%. Japan is at 261. Singapore is at 134. China is at 77. So we are at a comfortable situation at the moment. And in addition, our DBCC has assured us that our debt to GDP ratio is projected to settle at 60% by 2024. So this is the assumption that we are adopting for our general appropriations bill, Madam Speaker.
Oh, thank you, Madam Sponsor, Madam Speaker. So, the sponsor here, Madam Speaker, is telling us that we are in quote and unquote comfortable position insofar as our finances are concerned. So in other words, we can easily obtain the 2.46 trillion pesos needed for our national budget. Is that correct, Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor?
That is correct, Madam Speaker.
And then, Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor,
Huwag kang matakot, di ka nag-iisa. Huwag kang mag-alala, kami ang katangga.
how about the mix? In the debts.
The mix in terms of foreign and local.
Yes.
So it is, we have more foreign than local. Sorry, we have more local. We have more local than foreign. It's 75%. It's 75% local, 25% foreign. And the reason for why
75%, Madam Speaker, local, and 25%
foreign.
foreign.
Yes, that is
That's
correct.
the mix.
Yes.
Now, we have seen devaluation during the past few months. How will this affect, Madam Speaker, the financing?
Yes, so precisely, that's the reason for why we are biased for, we want to have more domestic than foreign. So in a sense, we're able to manage the risks better in that sense. So that's the reason for why there's more domestic than foreign in our portfolio of loans.
Madam Speaker, I fully agree with the sponsor But is this really the situation?
Yes, but of course we cannot. We also need to borrow from abroad. We cannot rely fully on domestic sources because doing that would what we call crowd out private sources and would in the end increase interest rates so much such that and that would ultimately cause investments to drop. So we don't want that to happen. So in the end, that would mean having to source some of our loans from abroad. And of course, that would also mean having to take advantage of some concessional loans from our development partners. So that's a reason for why there's a 25% foreign loans.
So, Madam Speaker, in summation, for the national budget of 5.768 trillion pesos for the year 2024, 43% will come from borrowings and 57% will come from local income and revenues, and the mix will be 75% local and 25% foreign loans.
That's correct.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Madam Sponsor. I have another clarificatory question here. A week ago, Madam Speaker, we had a meeting with the Department of Transportation. And I was asking the Undersecretary, Mr. Cesar Chavez, about the funding for the Bicol Express or the PNR South Long Haul Project, Madam Speaker. And Undersecretary Chavez answered that I should be asking the Department of Finance regarding the status of this particular project. As early as 2018, Madam Speaker, the Department of Transportation had assured us that this would be implemented. Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor, what is the real status of this project?
It has always been our goal to give you more, so you can show your love for those who matter the most. That is why we are all
Currently, Madam Speaker, we are looking for financing for the PNR South Long Haul project. There is a proposed budget of 3.80 billion pesos for 2024.
Madam Speaker, the original budget for this in 2018 was 175 billion pesos. What happened? Madam Sponsor, Madam Speaker?
So, Madam Speaker, the amount budgeted for 2024 covers feasibility studies. So this is the initial phase of the project, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, feasibility studies. But this was done as early as 2018. Madam Speaker, I am very concerned about this project because it will impact the economic lives of those living in the Bicol region. So I am really keen on knowing whether this will be implemented or not. Madam Speaker, let me propound a question again to the sponsor. Is the government, Madam Speaker, intending to implement this project or not?
Yes, Madam Speaker, there is a strong commitment from the government. They will pursue this project, Madam Speaker.
But, Madam Speaker, when will the government start the implementation of this project?
So again, Madam Speaker, for 2024, the plan is to undertake the first phase, which is the feasibility study. And again, this is going to be financed by a loan from the Chinese government, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, what happened to the studies conducted in 2018, 2019, and the previous years?
So Madam Speaker, this continues to be a priority project, except that they will have to change the financing arrangement. So it was previously a loan from the Chinese government, but it would seem that they would have to change the financing arrangement, and therefore at the moment, some changes will have to be done in terms of financing. So right now, that is the situation, Madam Chair. They need to secure another source of financing, but they are definitely going to pursue the project, and for next year, they will undertake the feasibility study, but under a different financing arrangement, Madam Speaker.
So in other words, Madam Speaker, we don't have the funding to support the project at this stage. Is that correct, Madam Sponsor?
So at the moment, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, this is in the 2024 program appropriation. it will be financed even using local sources, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker,
So again, let me clarify. Previously, the intent was to use a Chinese loan, but because there arose certain problems with that financing arrangement, they decided to cancel that. And at the moment, in case alternative foreign financing arrangements cannot be pursued, local sources will be used. But definitely they will undertake the feasibility study come 2024. And that is the commitment that our economic managers are giving, Madam Speaker.
so Madam Speaker, wala na.
Wala na po.
Hindi na implement ang project, and
Under China,
the
under the
people
Chinese.
will be waiting for another decade before this can be implemented.
Madam Speaker, uulitin ko po, ang wala na po ay ang Chinese loan. Pero patuloy pa rin ang project. At mag-uumpisa po sa feasibility study come 2024. Klaro po na nasa 2024 GAB, nasa program appropriations po siya. Wala po siya sa unprogram, nasa program po siya. So, ang mangyayari po, ang gagamitin po natin, kung hindi po matuloy ang alternative foreign funding, ang gagamitin po ay domestic source. Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I do hope that this project will soon be implemented. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Representative Bernadette B.H. Herrera of the party list BH to interpolate on the general principles and provisions.
The Honorable Bernadette B.H. Herrera is recognized for interpellation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. By twinning. Madam Sponsor, well, I'll go straight to my favorite topic, the earmark revenues. Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor, my question is because from last year, I asked already the DBCC family, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat, ano bang balak natin dito sa earmark revenues? Because year in and year out, we have a balance of 688 billion for December 2022. So I'm sure lumaki na naman yan for December 2023. Nasaan po ba itong earmark revenues na ito right now? Where are they deposited? Who's in charge of it? Ano pong interest na nakukuha nito? Hindi ko po masyadong nakuha yung sagot ko last year because sabi, magpapadala ng sagot sa akin, but 1 year after, wala pa rin po. So now, I would like to ask these questions again.
Okay, so a portion of your earmarked revenues are programmed. Okay, so, and the program portion goes to your special account. That's your SAG-F. So that would go to the different agencies. Okay? The rest would go to the rest would go to the general fund. And the general fund is used to fund the entire government.
But this is earmark revenues?
Yes.
Teka lang ha. Una-una, wala siya sa GAA natin. Kahit na yung inallocate natin sa bawat agency, it's not part of our GAA. It's a separate account. The earmark revenues are separate account. Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor, hindi natin siya makikita sa ating NEP. Kasi nakahiwalay po siya. Every time may magbigay ng podo ang isang ahensya, kuya ang DBM, ibibigay sa DICT, hindi natin siya makikita sa NEP. It's separate.
Okay. In table 3 of the GAP, you will see a line that says special accounts in the general fund. That is the earmark revenues. And you will see for 2024, it says 26.5 billion. So that's the portion of your earmark revenues that goes to the program. Okay. Now the 1.007 of the total 1.034 trillion goes to the general fund, which I was telling you about earlier.
So, linawin ko, Madam Speaker, yung sinasabi mong 26 billion, pupunta siya as part of the 5.7 trillion natin? Is it part?
Yes. Yes.
So, it is part? Ngayon ko lang narinig yun. So, part siya ng 5.7 trillion? Are you sure of this?
Yes. So again, the 26.5 in the SAG-F. The SAG-F gets programmed. The SAG-F gets programmed as part of the 5.768. Right?
Sige.
Okay, now the balance, the 1.007 trillion, which is the first line in your earmarked revenues, which is your BESF, B.15, your favorite table. The first line,
I don't have that table. If I can get a
B.15 of your BESF, line 1 says uses of funds. Line 1 says has a balance of 1.007 trillion.
So that's the balance of the earmark revenue now?
That's net of the 26.5.
So how much is the balance as of today of the earmark revenues?
No, so just to explain, the 1.007 trillion goes to the general fund.
Yes, if it goes to the general fund,
the general fund is the one that funds all other agencies.
Madam Chair, Madam Sponsor, Madam Speaker, paano mangyayari yung earmark siya eh? Hindi mo siya pwedeng i-fund yung other agencies. Naka-reserve siya to fund them for future. That's why it's earmarked. It's earmarked by several laws that we have passed. So, nasa general fund siya. Pero, ang pag-decide nito, how to use it, is DBM. Is that right?
Yes.
So, my question is this an earning, if it's in the general fund, nag-earn ba ito ng interest?
Yes.
So, saan na pupunta kaya yung interest? Because hindi ko nakikita yung interest income from that 1 trillion earmark revenues.
It earns interest. It goes to a special account.
So, meron po bang isang account, yung lahat ng earmark, or each department may kanya-kanyang special account?
Sorry, can you, let's retract. Can you please continue?
No. Kasi di ba yung kunwari sinasabi mo, dun muna tayo, how much is the balance of the earmark revenues as of today?
Okay, what is the balance? The balance as of December 31, 2022, as reported in the BESF, is 688,
Yes.
390, 681, as reported in the BESF. But let me ask the treasurer how much it is as of today, because ano to eh, may discrepancy to eh. So I'll let me ask.
Yes, thank you.
Based on our records, yes. Based on the treasurer's records, it is 766 billion. 766 billion 358,712,602.
Okay. Madam Speaker, so yung question ko, so this is deposited in separate accounts per department? Separate ledgers.
There's separate ledgers.
Separate ledgers, but in one account.
Yes.
So my question is, you said it earns interest.
Yes.
Does it go to the agency? Does it go to the department? Because if it's the fund of the agency, every time it earns interest in separate ledgers, does the interest go to the agencies? Because I do not see that.
Yes. It goes. All interest income goes to the national government.
So it goes to the national government. Can we just have a report on that, on how much we have been earning in interest for this one?
Yes.
Thank you. And then my next question is, how does sorry.
Madam Speaker, I think the confusion, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that when we pass a law and earmark a certain amount for a specific purpose, for example, we say 10% of PAGCOR income should be earmarked for a certain activity, we think that the entire 10% automatically for the next year is automatically for that particular activity. That's what we think it is. So if, for example, the computation is for the following year, 1 billion pesos, ang computation ng 10% na yon, ang akala natin yung 1 billion pesos na yan ay buong-buo makikita natin sa susunod na NEP. Yun po ba?
Madam Speaker, wala naman po ako akala. I'm just basing on the on the amounts that we have. Every year kasi may specific amounts that may revenues.
Yes.
Revenue.
So kasi nakikita natin na yung revenue may disparity dun sa program expenditure. Right? So usually, yung expenditure ay mas maliit dun sa revenue. So yun ba yung tanong?
Yeah, because there's a balance. So that balance, the money is here. The money is with us. The national government.
Yes.
There's a balance. Like you said, the balance is 766 billion.
That is correct.
So that is deposited in our account, the general fund.
That is
and
correct.
I was asking, the general fund, from bawat agency may different ledgers.
Yes.
And then there's an interest income because 766 billion, if you deposit it, ang laki ng interest nun. Like for 2022, how much interest did we earn?
Okay, how much is the interest income? Okay, they don't have we will submit the report to you, but because we don't have the accounting right now. But this is actually, the legal basis for that practice is the Admin Code of 1987. It is clearly stated that that is the practice that should be adopted.
Yes, okay. I just want to know how much that interest is, and then hindi siya nagagamit ng agencies, right? According to the code of practice, whatever the interest income is, hindi siya nagagamit ng bawat ahensya. National government ang gumagamit siya, it goes to a fund. Now, the reason why I'm asking this is because yung lagi nating tanong, Madam Sponsor, is how does DBM decide how much to give each agency every time? Dahil yun yung, minsan, kahit kailangan ng ahensya, hindi nila nabibigay. So, hindi ko alam kung tinitipid ba ni DBM ang pagbaba dun sa agency despite the fact that they have a program. For example, DILG. Napakadami nating fire trucks na kailangan sa ating bansa. There's a 6 billion available balance of that na pwedeng pag nirelease ni DBM lahat yun, pwedeng magkaroon ng fire truck ng buong Pilipinas, magkaroon ng fire station lahat ng Pilipinas. So, how does DBM decide na bakit 1 billion lang every year ang binibigay niya kay DILG for the fire stations and the fire trucks? Wala naman po dun sa batas or wala namang na nagsasabing limited ka dapat sa binibigay mo. If the agency can accommodate it, if the agency has the absorptive capacity to do it, then bakit natin tinitipid ang pag-release natin sa mga ahensya?
Madam Speaker, the parameters that are used for the programming for the earmarked funds are the same parameters that are used for the regular programming for every agency's budget, which are the usual, which is utilization. So, ganun din po yun. So, kung mababa rin ang utilization ng isang ahensya, pagdating dun sa earmarked fund, ganun din, unfortunately.
Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor, DILG, let's just focus on DILG. Ano ang naubos ba ni DILG 1 billion natin na binigay? As of today, 2023, we gave 1 billion to them. What is their absorptive capacity on that item now?
Okay, so the utilization rate for the SAG-F of the ILG is 94%.
So 94. So meaning, pwede na silang humingi ulit at humingi pa ng 1 billion
That
para
is correct.
i-release sa
That is
kanila.
correct.
Tama?
Yes. Pagdating sa earmarked revenues naman, there is a chance for the agencies to make a request as long as it is within the year.
Yes, yun nga po yung point ko. So, kailan pa naging 94% ang absorptive capacity ng DILG?
Madam Speaker, this 94% is for the special account.
Yes, I
Yes,
understand that. For the 1 billion, we're just talking about the 1 billion. I know what I'm talking about.
Kailan daw yan naging is it a reason? It's as of August, Madam Speaker.
So, as of August, nag-request na ba ulit sila ng panibago? Kasi kami dito sa Congress, we keep on asking for fire trucks, for our constituents, fire stations, for ano, pero sasabihin, pag nagsabi kami sa DILG, humingi kami sa DBM, pero ayaw kaming bigyan. Absorptive capacity as of August, 94%. So meaning, pwede na ulit magbigay ng 1 billion ulit at half the year. And alam ko, natatandaan ko, during the plenary debates, also sinabi sa akin, independent ang absorptive capacity ng earmark revenue. So I would just like to put the record, at any time ba, pwede ulit mag-request na si DILG para makahingi na tayo ng fire trucks at fire stations para sa ating mga constituents, Madam Speaker, Madam Sponsor.
Yes, that is correct, Madam Speaker. And in fact, ang DILG ay nakapag-request na. And so, in process na po ang kanilang request at mukha naman kaya naman ma-process within the allotment cycle, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, Madam, I look forward to that because for the past several years, I haven't seen that happen. And I'd like to put that on record. For the past years, I haven't seen that happen. And I want to see it happen because I want to see na totoo tayo, ang DBM, na pag ni-request talaga, kaya naman ng oras, sana ibigay natin.
Yeah.
Because andyan yung pera eh.
At Madam Speaker, pati sila din daw, first time din nila nakita na nangyari sa DILG. So, pagtutulungan natin na mangyari for the first time, maging totoo at maging successful ang DILG sa first time na request nila dito sa additional request dito
Hindi
sa
yung first time, Madam Speaker.
earmarked revenues.
Last year may request din pero hindi nila in-approve. Nangyari na yung last year may request, nag-follow up pa ako dun sa request na yun, but that did not happen. So I hope hindi mangyayari ulit yun ngayon. Because last year, mataas din ang absorptive capacity nila, naubos din nila, nag-request din, pero hindi po naibigay. So sana this year, hindi to first time because last year, nakapag-request na sila.
So, Madam Speaker, according to DBM, last year, hindi naman daw naubos ang kanilang pondo. So, sa ngayon, baka naman iba ang sitwasyon at sana mauubos sana nila. And kapag gano'n ang sitwasyon, ay baka naman sakali ngayon ay ma-approve ang additional request.
Madam Speaker, siguro tignan natin yun because alam ko naubos nila last year. So just submit kami na lang that one. My next is DICT. Ito yung pinagtalunan natin, Madam Sponsor. Nagulat ako dahil sabi ng BTR, meron lang siyang 4 billion dun sa 22 billion ng DICT. Hindi pa po ako nasasagot dun ngayon. Bakit po nagkaganon? I haven't received an answer to that question that why does BTR only have 4 billion when according to this balance, DICT for SUF has a 21 billion balance for SUF. But BPR doesn't have that amount.
Madam Speaker, this pertains to the spectrum fees, right?
Yes.
Spectrum fees.
Hindi, dito.
Madam Speaker, may we have a 2-minute suspension?
Session suspended.